yAPPer is a location-based chat that allows users who are nearby to communicate with each other.
The way that technology has advanced in the past decade is absolutely amazing. With the advent of social networking, we built the functionality to be able to connect with everyone you've ever met. There's actually incentive to continue to expand this network so that you can get as many likes, as many comments, and reposts as possible. In short, yAPPer is trying to reverse that trend. What we can do with yAPPer is to compress all the conversations into a localized community and keep the conversations relevant to the here and now. We want our users to bring chat back to life by communicating with people in real time.
So how exactly are we going to accomplish this goal? Users can either join existing conversations or create new conversations by blasting out a chat with a title to anyone within a 750-yard radius of them. And then after that, a conversation can insist after they blast that chat out. You can talk about who's going to the bar to watch this football game, to Alex's bar. Conversation insists after that, and then after 30 minutes of inactivity, the conversation deletes itself. Because it's all about what's going on right here, right now, who's involved, and how can I take part in that. And we also do have a built-in private feature for those people who are skeptical about conversating with strangers.
The initial target demographic is going to be right here. Urban college campuses, because colleges are built on communities of like-minded people who are inherently social and who have already proven to be early adapters to new technology. And we feel that through our polling system, we've polled this demographic and understand that there's a demand for a social application that will be able to connect students with their classmates without needing to know everyone's cell phone number or have to be friends with them on Facebook. All you have to do is create a conversation through our app, and based off of your location and the idea that the other person has also downloaded our mobile app, you can communicate with them.
So guys, it's that simple. There's no more social noise from people who are on the other side of the world or your parents back home trying to bug you on Twitter or Facebook. It eliminates all the social noise from people who aren't nearby you. Not only that, it's going to limit the amount of opinions that you're able to express so that you also don't see people's contact information or opinions from everyone you've ever met on the internet. Whether you're trying to find events nearby, whether you're just trying to meet your neighbors or classmates for the first time, or if you just want to take part in something that's going on in your community, yAPPer is the secure, relevant, easy-to-use social app for you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Constructing conversation and the internet into something that's local. I think it's really interesting ideas. First question, how do you make money?
So that's a great question, and something that we often discuss. And honestly, in our first month, that was a discussion that we had a lot about, whether we wanted to move forward with this idea. And we do have a lot of creative ideas. Whenever you know exactly where your customer is and what they're doing, that's attractive. At the same time, we think that it would be almost irresponsible to our users and potential investors to really be thinking about that at this point. Right now, our #1 goal is to get this in as many hands as possible and have them enjoy their experience. Down the road, I mean, we're talking minimal 18 months before we're looking to even start monetizing. So that we do have creative ideas, but right now, that's something that we're going to put on the back burner.
But you have to have some idea of how this would monetize potentially.
Well, the way that this space has been monetizing is through advertisements, and we feel, like Justin said, that knowing where the consumer is going to be and what conversations they're involved in is going to be incredibly powerful to a bar, to a restaurant.
So what's your plan for marketing?
So we've already started our marketing, even though we're in early stage development. We already have different pockets of users that we are going to beta test with the app, all on GW campus. We're going to beta test graduate students, undergraduate students.
If there's any in the room, thank you for helping us out so far.
And I know that there are. We've spread the word, fraternities, sororities on campus, and they know that this app is coming. I have people coming up to me, giving examples of, earlier today, I was at this situation, I wish your app existed. So we're going to test it late October, early November with different demographics within the campus, get the buzz going. Then once it comes out, we'll be at every event in this area. We're going to be throwing promotional parties at local bars, the sporting events on campus. So we're going to get the word out to every single person on this
You
campus.
touched on a really good point that in order for this to be valuable, you need to have a lot of users in the area that are actually involved. And we have a huge benefit being students right now to be able to tap into the GW market. We have had discussions of limiting it to just the DC area so that people outside DC can't download it and see that there's no one in their neighborhood and immediately get turned off of our idea. Because we want people to, in their dorm rooms, if they're cooking dinner and they need to borrow a cup of sugar from someone down the hall, but they don't have everyone's cell phone number in that apartment or that dorm room, they can communicate with everyone else in their local community within a couple blocks away from them.
So there's a lot of this going on a very large scale in the security world, in security markets. So how do you alert college campuses to problems like that we found in Virginia Tech or some of the other issues? And so that technology does exist, so that's an opportunity for you not to have to build it out from scratch for your own purposes. But you know, that getting enough people into the system, have you talked to the folks in the administration at GW for having this as be a way for they to communicate with people on campus?
That's an awesome vision, and that's something that we've talked about a lot. When we were developing this idea, it was back in May of this year, and the Boston Massacre happened. We thought about how powerful it would be to be able to see the conversation that was going on that street block, see the pictures that were being sent. And right now, there's just the technology hasn't been built to be able to centralize that location. So the way that we see certain competitors, someone like Twitter, is that there's certain conversations where people are on the ground, but it's diluted with all these other news broadcasts and everyone else in the world sending their regards and their well wishes. Whereas this would actually keep that conversation specific to what's going on in that area. And so GW would be a great contact to talk to in the offices.
So anybody that would actually become a student here would sign up for this app so that they are given information about what's happening on campus.
Yeah, and just to elaborate with that, we have been in connection with Jim Chung, who's the head of entrepreneurship at the school, and we're actually in the works of trying to talk out a way where we can sponsor the also the Venture Up Series, but also the Pitch George showcase, where we're going to have people talking about the presentations while they're watching with people in the room. So that's an idea that we already have in the works. Spoke with him at another meeting on Thursday with him, so that's rolling as well.
So do you have this built? Do you have an archetype you refer to?
We have a dummy app, yes.
You have a
That
dummy
is
app?
already built. It has canned data conversations in it. Right now, we're currently working on the back-end infrastructure, and then we're going to plug them all together, and then you'll have an actual app.
So when you're looking at platforms, when you're looking at servers, version and control, you know, how you're going to push data back and forth, are you using open source?
Currently, can you hear me? Okay. Currently, what we're doing is we're going to use a back-end parse, which is a common technology back-end, and we're using various plugins to make everything work initially. Later on, we're going to probably build our own as time goes on, the next year, 18 months, to build it all ourselves, so it's all custom built using open source technology, yes.
Yeah, it sounds like some of it might now be open source though. I wanted to point out, not as just the lawyer had wrote, every open source download comes with a license. You have to abide by the terms of the license, or all of your code becomes public and you cannot come in anymore. So anything that you're downloading that's open source is good hygiene. You should chronicle. You should have a link to the license at that time, because license might change. MongoDB, for
So to touch on that point, it brings up one of my favorite functionalities of the app, which is there is a private functionality, but it's built in with the same vision that we've built the entire user interface to be as simplistic and intuitive as possible. And so the way that the private functionality would be is that when you're at the screen creating your app, you just click one button at the top, and that will make it invisible to this conversation, to this feed of conversations that are going on around you. What that does is that you can scroll to the top of it and search for the exact naming convention of this private conversation and subscribe to that chat similar to how you would follow someone on Twitter or friend someone on Facebook. So you don't have to spend a couple minutes actually going through and adding people to that conversation. It can either be word of mouth or it can be part of an advertisement on a flyer, a promotional flyer, to what the specific private conversation would be. But that way it limits outside chatter.
And eventually, and that's also a bigger part of how we see expansion is, think about a business conference. If every business conference can have their own hashtag where you walk into the business conference and it's Deloitte 2013, and that's the naming convention, and you tell everyone when they walk in, and automatically you can now communicate with only the people at your business conference.
Have you looked at social media competitors who do real-time discussions like Dolphin React Labs? Have you done that research? Because they're already out there, and for example, React Labs worked with the Obama campaign for real-time reactions of everyone who was watching the TV so that they could talk about it.
Yeah, we've done extensive research on our competition. Right now, if you guys know Highlight, which is out there, one of the main differences between us and them is they're all about, they expose you to your public, to the public around you without your permission. So if me and Rob walk past each other on the street, it's going to say, Rob Wine just walked past you on the street, which rubs some people the wrong way.
Well, it's not totally without permission, right?
Well, you have to be a
signed up for
user.
Highlight.
You have to, of course, you have to be a user. But with our app, you cannot be exposed to anyone, even if you're downloaded, until you actively participate in a conversation. Also, there's several others, but 2 years ago there was a few apps that actually got quite a bit of funding. YoBongo and Salo. If you're DC area, you probably know about Salo. And we did extensive research about why those apps failed, because they did have a lot of similarities. So I spoke with one of the advisors at Salo on their investing team at Fortify, got his insight. I got the developers' insight as to why he thought that they failed. And Anthony is actually the developer for Salo, and we convinced him to come on board because he.
Well, from being within the group is actually a mismanagement issue. It wasn't, and a marketing issue was the main problem with Salo. They decided to go with an anonymous convention, so that way you could just be chatting anonymously in a geofenced area. So like asking random questions or anything, but that didn't give you a social interaction. Also, the conversations lasted forever. So there could be a conversation that was there 2 months old that no one's participating in that you could still join.
How many people had downloaded it?
Actually, that was another issue, is the development took so long that's why they lost funding and fell apart, was they started out as being a mobile web app. So it wasn't even an iOS or Android app you could download. It was a mobile web app, and that's, so no one's going to download it.
Do you have a sense of how many users they have?
At the time of them ending, they only had about 2,000-3,000.
Yeah, just back to my earlier point, I mean, the real challenge here is just finding the market and making it, thinking really think work on the customer experience, right? So how are you screening up front to manage things like avoiding somebody's coming over for a cup of sugar and, oh, by the way, like now you have a gooseberry, right? Like that's really, really critical. And furthermore, it's really touted, right? And there's a lot of players. The Nextdoor has 23 million behind it. Social Radar just raised 12 million, right? And you have to have a big market for this to work, and you have to go after it aggressively. And if you don't have the resources, how are you going to focus on your entire niche, develop the market, and get critical mass so that you get
Well, so then that goes back to an ask, which is even ask.
So in terms of finances,
Is that the most important ask you have right at this point?
no, it's not the most important ask. The most important ask that we have is that everyone in this room downloads the app.
shameless plug, take our survey. It's at getYAPPer.com.
But
Help us out.
in all honesty, we've spoken to investors and advisors and we're not going to get money at this point. We have no traction. We don't have users. So first off, if we did and someone wanted to invest in us right now, they'd take every bit of equity that we have and give us as little as possible. And we have enough confidence in ourselves that we are going to be able to build 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 users, then take that to an investor and show this four-man team with bootstrapping, asking our parents, whatever capital we have left in our bank, we were able to get to that point, we're going to be that much more attractive. So we honestly don't want to go to investors right now.
All right, well, that's pretty smart. So the question is, you're gonna have to answer is what Laura said. How are you gonna ramp up and get everybody signed up? And what can you use to get yourself registered, people to register for this? And so it's rush events and it's, you know, to be involved, you're gonna have to sign up at the point of registration.
We're also trying to get into a lot of business plan competitions as well. That will get us access to other cities also. I think to answer your question, we're going to have people log into Facebook, so they have to have a Facebook profile to use our app. That doesn't mean they can't create a fake one and still be a creepy person, but that's one aspect. It also deletes after half an hour of an activity, so you're not going to have these stalker issues, you know, unless they're following you around, then you should probably call the cops. But on top of that,
You have a marketing challenge, so you have to come up with a marketing plan, and that will be your sales, you know, to figure out how to get this all in. And we're out of time, so.
And I know that the conversation was mostly up front, but I really do appreciate everyone listening. If you guys have any feedback, please go to getYAPPer.com, send us an email of whatever questions you have. We'll be very responsive, and we really, really appreciate any input that anyone in this room can provide.
And let us know how people can, you know, can you sign up right on getYAPPer.com?
Yeah, so if you on the top right, there's a survey that you can take, and in that survey you can volunteer to become a beta tester. And we'd love for everyone here to become a beta tester as soon as it's available.
Any incentive that you're going to provide for people to sign up?
If you're 21, maybe.
Yeah.